Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Nisnik. I'm a nutritional consultant at the Weiner Wellness Center, now World of Wellness. If you have issues, chances are I can help you. People come to see me, I spend an hour with them, and we test all sorts of things. But today, we're going to talk about testimonials, how this actually worked for people. We're going to go through a lot of different things. And my presentation today is going to be on client testimonials. You can go ahead and bring that up, Phil. Overcoming long-term illness, irritable bowel syndrome, blood sugar issues, chronic pain, acid reflux, all sorts of things. Uh, now, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. A little bit about me. I went to Carnegie Mellon. I graduated from Center High School down in Monaca back in 1978. I worked for several civil engineering firms before getting into this healing arts field. I was a massive pain most of my life: back pain, neck pain, knee pain, sleep apnea. Had surgery for sleep apnea. Had surgery for biceps detached from arthritis. All sorts of things. My body wasn't working. My life wasn't working until I found basically the help through nutrition. Basically, I was nutrient poor most of my whole life and had nutrient deficiency symptoms most of my whole life until I started daily nutrifying my body, and nothing really changed. Once I started doing that, everything changed. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. But for the past 29 years, I've been helping people with this system overcome all sorts of things. Uh, it's been my passion. And chances are I can help you. So call World of Wellness 412-922-9355 and set an appointment with me and see what we can do to help you out. Here's my contact info. Wine and Wellness Centers, now World of Wellness also. Call 412-922-9355. Okay. FDA disclaimer, folks, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. This presentation and these statements are for informational purposes only. They're not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. And should you have any medical condition, you're advised to go see a licensed healthcare practitioner for that. Good luck with that. So the basic premise of what I do is during an appointment with me, I use a system of applied kinesiology. It's a simple, quick, and effective method of communicating with a person's body, their subconscious mind, their cells, their organs. This communication is all with energetics, electromagnetic fields. Your body will tell you what's weak. Your body will tell you what's strong. We can ask your body what's going on. Your body can communicate with us and tell us these things. So we basically are finding disturbances in the force, basically where you have weak energy flow. And then we'll energy test to see which nutrients strengthens those weak reflexes. I can't tell you that this will fix you, this will cure you. I can show you this whole reflex system is weak, and this candida yeast formula strengthened everything, or this anti-parasite formula strengthened everything, or this digestive enzyme formula strengthened everything. Your body will tell you what's weak. It'll tell you what strengthens those weak reflexes. This can help you pinpoint your nutrition. How do you know if your body wants something or not? Your body will tell you whether it wants it or not. We just have to know how to ask it. And this is what I do when you come to see me. So again, we don't treat, cure, prevent anything. We aid and assist a client in improving their nutritional status. And through this energy testing, we can find what's weak. You can find what makes it strong. We never make any claims, but you'll see today from the testimonials that it can really help a lot of people, and we can really help you. Okay, so in a nutshell, your health, your performance, your work, everything in your life is dependent on these few things. Nutrients. Are you abundant in nutrients, or is your body deficient in nutrients? Uh, we are toxic from a zillion different sources. How much of that is built up in our body? How good is your body's ability to purge this stuff and get it out of your system? We can test your body, and your body will tell you if you need some help with detoxification, which particular nutrients would help you the best. Your body will tell you this. We're all affected by bugs in the system, pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus, parasites. Those reflexes on your body will tell you if you have a weakness in your immune system in different places. And you can find which particular immune boosting nutrients strengthen those weak reflexes. One thing you got to know is the power of your mind. You have to believe that your body can fix itself. All those years that I struggled, I knew there had to be a reason why my body wasn't working. I had severe sleep apnea, and I knew there had to have been a reason why I was almost dying every night. I didn't believe that our body was designed to have a machine to breathe to survive a night of sleep. There had to be a reason why it was off. I don't have sleep apnea anymore unless I eat bad food, things that are wrong for me, things that are loaded with chemicals. Most of the foods you buy outside your house are loaded with chemicals, and that can have a strong effect on sleep apnea. Even genetically modified wheat affects me like that, and I get sleep apnea if I have genetically modified wheat products. So if you can come in, we can scan your body. Your body will communicate, will tell us your body doesn't like wheat or it can handle wheat. Your body will tell us. One thing you got to know is that you're never drug deficient. You can only be nutrient deficient. Your body's designed to work on nutrients, not drugs. Drugs work on your symptoms. They don't work on the cause of your problems. The cause of your problems is you may not have all the chemical reactants from nutrients that your body needs to do all the chemical reactions that it's supposed to do. What a concept in that. So doesn't common sense tell you that if you give the body complete nutrition daily, if you stay away from foods that inflame your body and irritate your body, if you stay away from foods that block your absorption of nutrients, if you discover and eradicate pathogens that are affecting your body, if you discover and eradicate toxins, heavy metals, toxic chemicals that are affecting your body, maybe, just maybe your body will work better. And this is what I see every day here at the Moral Wellness. So come spend some time with me and let's get your body to help heal itself through this level of communication. Oop, went the wrong way there. Okay. So basically what I do with every client that steps in my office, we get your body to communicate with both of us. Your body will tell us which components of daily complete nutrition you want. Now, when I test on multivitamins, I have like 6 different main multivitamins in my office. Your body will like one more than all the other ones. And quite often, say a person has 8 different weak reflexes on their body, and Nutritional Frontiers Frontier Multivitamin strengthens all those weak reflexes, and none of the other ones do. Not that those other multivitamins are bad, it's just that Nutritional Frontiers multivitamin was the best one for you. So this is what we do. We come in and test all these things. We also test teeth. Your teeth are wired to your body electrically. All the energy meridians of your body flow through your teeth, just like your electrical circuit breaker panel in your house. If you have a root canal, an infected crown tooth, or a mercury-filled tooth, you can be blocking voltage to 2 organs in your body, disrupting the function in those organs. We'll test teeth. I'm not a dentist. I don't fix teeth, but I can test you and show you what's weak, and then refer you to biological dentists that understand this. Most dentists are not trained in this at all, but certain biological dentists have been trained in this, and I refer people to those guys too. Okay, so how well does all this system work? Phil, can you pull the blind down a little bit? Thank you much. Okay, so how well does this system work? We're going to share some testimonials with you. And I literally could go on for about 10 hours on testimonials, but we're streamlined just a few good ones that I really would like to talk about. We're going to start off with a 65-year-old man. This guy, awesome guy. No, I'm not 65 yet. 4 years I'll be there, 3.5 years actually. But anyway, this guy had diabetes. He knew his body wasn't working right. He knew he was overweight. He knew he wasn't feeling well. He was tired all the time. He had abdominal pain. His vision was getting worse and worse and worse. And he decided to start changing his life. So about a couple months before I saw him, he started to exercise a little bit. He started to restrict a little bit some of the horrible things he was eating. And then June 7th, we have a screen on this. June 7th. So June 7th, he had a blood test. And his results in the blood test were not good. Fasting blood sugar, 382. You shouldn't be above a 100. He was 382. That's like big time diabetes. His A1C levels, now 5.7 to 6.4 on an A1C reading is pre-diabetic range. He was at 14. Cholesterol was 250. But if you listen to a lot of the natural healthcare doctors, they believe that cholesterol number is not a problem. But so that was June 7th. His first appointment with me was June 11th. Right after he had the blood test, he saw his doctor, and his doctor was literally screaming at him to get on drugs. all these different drugs. And he didn't want to do any drugs. He said, drugs aren't going to fix the cause of my problem. He says, I want to change my body and change my lifestyle. And she was screaming at him, called him at work, called him at home to get on these drugs. He didn't want to do it. So June 11th, he came and saw me. I did all my testing with him. Found out he needed antifungal supplements in his body. We gave him the right antifungal supplement. I have several of them in the office. His body found the one that it said it wanted the best. There's a Saccharomyces boulardii is a specific probiotic strain that may eat up fungus in the intestines, and an herbal remedy systemically that kills fungus. He got on that. We tested to find out which particular group of 90 essential nutrients his body wanted. It was basically as a multivitamin, a multimineral, and a fish oil. The right digestive aid to help him break down his food and minimize inflammation in the body from not digesting food properly. So we found what was good for him. A supplement that may help with blood sugar levels in the body. We tested him on all this stuff. And then we talked about intermittent fasting, doing intermittent fasting. We tested foods, and I think he failed on 60-some foods. He failed on several heavy metals in a heavy metals testing kit. He failed on like 9 different weak reflexes on his body. That was the first visit. So he started intermittent fasting. He changed his diet. He stopped eating all this stuff. He exercised, basically changed his lifestyle. He wasn't looking for that one magic pill that'll fix me and cure me. There is no magic pill. But it was the magic pill is the lifestyle change. He stopped eating bad food. He stopped eating food that inflamed his body. He stopped eating food that blocked his absorption of nutrients. He stopped eating high carbohydrate foods. He got on an antifungal regimen. He got on 90 nutrient regimen. September 13th, he had another blood test. His fasting blood sugar went from 382 to 120. 3 months. His A1C that was 14 went to 6.8. Cholesterol went to 205. And then I just saw him yesterday. His A1C now is down to 6.2, which is pre-diabetic range. So going from severely diabetic to pre-diabetic in just a few months. Now, again, I didn't treat him for sugar diabetes. We got his body to communicate with both of us, and it said it wanted these supplements, these nutrients, and didn't like these particular groups of foods. It was good with this group of foods. He decided to change it up and look at the results. So the body can fix itself. This is the key premise here. Your body can fix itself. You got to have daily complete nutrition. You got to avoid things that inflame your body. Don't eat fried food. It inflames your body. And he took a digestive aid to help him digest food more efficiently to get more nutrients out of his food, but also to help minimize inflammation in his body from eating food he isn't digesting well and being inflamed by it. Okay, let's go back up. So that was our 65-year-old guy. 77-year-old woman. She had 60 years of constipation. She came and see me. I did my testing stuff with her. She told me she's constipated. Tested her on a bunch of nutrients and supplements, including GI Complete and a couple other things. She came back 4 weeks later and says, Jeff, you're a miracle worker. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because if you know me, I'm not like a braggart at all. And she's like, I'm not constipated anymore. I'm like, that's fantastic. I said, well, how long have you been constipated? She goes, well, I'm 77 now. And I've been constipated since I was 17. I'm like, 60 years? Yeah, 60 years. And this was about a year and a half ago. I've seen her several times since then at different sales coming in during the sales. Still not constipated. What a gift. What a gift to not have this burden and fear that your intestines are killing you from being so toxic because you can't eliminate. 91-year-old woman. Her wonderful daughter brought her in to see us. She was in a wheelchair. For 35 years, she had Crohn's disease and chronic diarrhea. She also couldn't read very well, even with the help of a magnifying glass. For the previous 8 years, she had a hearing aid. She could barely walk, even with the help of a walker. And she also had dementia, where she couldn't communicate with you too well. She would blurt out 2 or 3 word phrases, but really couldn't have a conversation with you. 35 years of chronic Crohn's disease and chronic diarrhea. I did my testing with her. She got on the right antifungal regime for her, the right digestive aid for her, the right group of 90 essential nutrients. She was very good with dairy and very good with eggs. So I suggest eat a lot more dairy, eat a lot more eggs to give you nutrients for the myelin sheath on nerves and brain cells and so forth. 4 weeks later, no diarrhea. 6 weeks later, perfectly formed stools. 8 weeks later, from the time she started, she was reading again with a magnifying glass. 10 weeks into it, she was walking at home without her cane. And 17 weeks into it, she had a 3-hour conversation with her daughter and her son. She got her mind back and was able to communicate again. Was walking to church, talking to her lady friends again. Life totally changed. She wasn't drug deficient. She was nutrient deficient and needs some support to help her body work. And this is what we did. 63-year-old woman. This lady was a workout maniac. It's a bad term. She basically worked out a lot. Phenomenal shape. You can see the veins in her biceps, and just tremendous, like athlete shape. But for 9 months, her hips were bothering her. I'd seen her for several things before this, and I didn't see her for a little while. And she came back in. She said, "For like the last 9 months, my hips are killing me. I've had PT, I've had therapy for these things. I still have this horrible hip pain." So when I tested her, the pathogen reflex was very active. She tested very strongly for immune boosting supplements. She had a real weak reflex on those hips, and the immune boosting supplements strengthened those hips. She had been taking joint formulas, glucosamine, chondroitin, hyaluronic acid, MSM. That wasn't helping her hips. So that wasn't the answer. I believe it was some type of pathogen, maybe like a virus, was attacking those hips, because she told me in 4 days on those supplements, her hips didn't bother her anymore. She had a problem for 9 months. So her body communicated it wanted this group of immune boosters, and it did the trick. Okay, 65-year-old man, felt sick for 2.5 years. So this guy played tennis all the time. Active guy, did calisthenics, kept himself in shape. But for 2.5 years, he was feeling more and more ill. Wasn't recovering from his workouts, didn't have energy, more fatigue. He was going downhill, and he didn't know why. He saw a whole bunch of different doctors. They did test and test and test and test and test. They couldn't find what's wrong with him. He came in, I tested him, found out what particular food he needed to avoid, foods he needed to avoid, found out which particular digestive enzyme formula his body wanted, found out which group of 90 nutrients his body wanted. But when I tested his teeth, super weak on this side, super weak on this side. So I referred him to a biological dentist. They examined him, found he had a rotted out bone above his root canal. Root canal will put bacteria or fungus in your body every day of your life. Botulism, like toxins in your body every day of your life, and you basically are reacting to it. And you're wasting energy and nutrition from the constant chronic infection and inflammation in your body from having that root canal, and as well as the blocked voltage to the two organs in the body. So he saw the dentist. He said this side was actually horrible, but they dealt with this side first. Took out this root canal tooth, waited about 8 months for that to heal. He said right after they took that tooth out, within 2 weeks, he said about 50% of his symptoms disappeared. He was that much better in just a few weeks. And then they took out this side. This side was so rotted out, the bone was so rotted out, he had open passage up into his sinuses. The only symptoms he had was he had no pain there. He had a weak energetic response on that tooth, and I referred him to the right doctor that can check him out. I have a list of biological dentists here in the office. There's 4 people I refer to all the time. If you have issues, chances are we can help you out with that. 62-year-old woman. So for 22 years, she was kind of like a prisoner of her own house. She had irritable bowel syndrome and, diarrhea 9 to 15 times a day for like 22 years. Saw the best gastroenterologists in Pittsburgh and so forth, and no resolution to this. I did my testing with her. She too needed an antifungal regime. Her body said it liked this particular antifungal product, which particular group of 90 nutrients she was good with, what food she needed to stay away from. After the first month, she was practically regular. At the second month, she actually was getting constipated because she was taking way too many probiotics. She backed off of that, and she's relatively normal right now. She's no longer a prisoner of her house, and it doesn't live in fear of if she has to go somewhere, find out where every bathroom is along the way, because she had no control over this and would have to run into a bathroom somewhere. She got a good bit of her life back. 14-year-old basketball player, young guy, lean shape, fatigued all the time. His parents were saying they were watching him standing in practice around a group of guys, and he's wobbling and shaking like he was going to go down. Tested him, found out which particular group of 90 nutrients his body liked, Find out what foods you needed to stay away from. So 90 nutrients, you need 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids, and 60 different minerals. Who gets 60 minerals in their diet? Now, if you eat vegetables where they're grown in a garden that's watered by glacial runoff, you might have a chance to get 60 different minerals in your body. So basically, he finally had daily complete nutrition. He needed some detoxification. Proline greens is a great detoxifier. His body said it really wanted that stuff. Basically, his nutritional status changed, his daily lifestyle changed, his daily eating habits changed, and he changed. His symptoms disappeared. He's a healthy young boy now. 24-year-old woman, 20 years of IBS after a car crash. So her and her husband were in a terrible car crash. She was in a coma for a week. Her husband was in a coma for a month. After that, she's had irritable bowel syndrome ever since. She came and saw me. I did my testing with her, gave her the right nutrients. 4 weeks later, she returned. No more symptoms. I didn't treat her for anything. Her body said it had a very terrible response to all these foods. Her body said it had a very strong reaction to this particular group of nutrients. She changed her lifestyle and changed that up. IBS disappeared. 32-year-old man advised to have gallbladder removed. So this guy came to me, intense abdominal pain for, I think it was like 4 or 5 months. He ate anything, it bothered him constantly, on and on and on. Went to the doctor and they advised him to get his gallbladder removed. So he heard about me, came and saw me. I did my testing with him. We found out which particular, he failed on, I think it was close to 80 different foods. He very terrible time with digestion. Well, to digest food, you need 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids, 60 different minerals for your pancreas to produce all the digestive juices that's supposed to produce to digest your food. He wasn't getting anywhere near this from his diet. He was reacting to all kinds of foods. So he decided to not eat those foods he was reacting badly to, took his 90 nutrients, came back 1 month later. He didn't have the pain anymore. He came for a follow-up visit 4 weeks later. Again, he said, I can't believe the difference in my body. He had just seen his doctor right before that 2nd month visit. And he hasn't had any pain or symptoms for about 5-6 weeks. His doctor still advised him to have his gallbladder cut out. Okay. Yeah, that happened. 40-year-old woman, lifetime acid reflux and abdominal pain. Since she was a kid, constantly refluxing, burping up food, couldn't eat anything. I did my testing series with her. Same deal, changed her diet, changed everything. The symptoms disappeared. 46-year-old woman, 15 years of breakouts on her back. So she had breakouts on her back. She had breakouts on her legs. And when you see breakouts on the legs and different parts of the body, and it may be parasites, but many people go see dermatologists and you get a steroid cream and an antibiotic. It's like the Dr. Weiner talked about this on the radio all the time. Steroid cream, antibiotic, steroid cream, antibiotic. And I see this all the time. People come in with all these rashes and breakouts in their skin, steroid cream, antibiotic. Well, they came to see me, and most of them test strongly for an anti-parasite regime. The same thing with this 46-year-old woman. Tested her, showed her what foods to stay away from, showed her what group of 90 nutrients her body wants to properly function. She tested very strongly to every anti-parasite formula we had in the office, found out which one she tested the best for. She took that, back and legs cleared up. 31-year-old woman. So the two 31-year-olds here, husband and wife, came to see me. Both of them had been trying for a while to lose weight, and they couldn't lose any weight. They were exercising. The husband actually was a football coach, and he was doing 3 or 4 cardio sessions a week and 2 or 3 weight training sessions a week. Couldn't lose any weight. The wife had open sores in her nose, nasal fissures for 2.5 years. Couldn't get these fissures to close. Saw a bunch of different doctors, tried different medical regimes. Couldn't deal with it. Came in, I did my testing with her, gave her 90 nutrients, the right digestive aid. She tested strongly for antifungal remedies. Took the antifungal remedies, changed her diet up. Her husband had this rash across his arms, across his chest for 9 months. Couldn't lose any weight. Did my testing with him. He too needed an antifungal regime, the right digestive aid, stayed away from the foods he tested poorly on. Came back 4 weeks later, both of them. She had lost 5 pounds. He lost 15 pounds. Her nasal fissures disappeared. His rash disappeared. I didn't treat them for anything. We just asked their body. The body said, I want this candy kill and I want this SPC. There you go. How are we doing on time here? Oh, okay. So 12-year-old martial artist. So this kid would be super sore, especially after leg kick day when he was training for martial arts. And I did my testing with him. He tested really strongly for mineral-rich multivitamin and a fish oil. I showed him what foods his body said it didn't like. He stayed away from those foods, took his 90 nutrients. And he says now when he goes to kick class, he can do the kick class the next day. He recovers really, really rapidly because he finally has daily complete nutrition. His body's working better. 61-year-old woman, she had a rash around her eye for, I don't know, I think it was like a year and a half. It was like this red swelling. And tried everything, couldn't get rid of this rash. I did my testing with her. She tested strongly for immune boosting stuff that may help knock virus down in the body, may help knock out bacteria in the body. Her body said it really liked beta-glucans and L-lysine and a couple other immune boosters. We showed her what foods to stay away from, showed her what digestive aid her body said it had greatest reaction to. She changed up her diet. A month later, the rash was gone. Same thing with a lady with a sore bump on her lip, 48-year-old woman. She had a sore bump on her lip for 4 months or so. Tested her. She needed the right immune booster for that, like beta-glucans, L-lysine, so forth. Thing disappeared. 50-year-old man, this poor guy, burping all the time, burping up food all the time, refluxing all the time. Didn't seem matter what he ate. And the doctors, were concerned with his gallbladder and were telling him to consider getting his gallbladder taken out. I did my testing with him. Now there's digestive enzymes and there's stomach acid support formulas and there's gallbladder support formulas. Gallbladder support formulas may have, ox bile extract in it. So some digestive aids are stomach acid with gallbladder support. Some are digestive enzyme with gallbladder support. Some are just enzymes. Some are just acid support. Your body will tell you what it wants. We found the right one for him. He came back. He too, a month later, everyone tell people come back in 4 weeks. We'll retest everything. He's like, you're a miracle worker. I'm like, I get a little anxious when people say that because I'm not a braggart. But the guy is thrilled. He doesn't burp and pass gas anymore. He said that was really embarrassing because a lot of times he couldn't control it. 23-year-old man. This guy had shooting pain down his arm. I think this was going on for 5 6 months. A shooting pain down his arm. Well, the nerve supply in the neck affects the arm. People know about sciatica in the low back. If you pinch the nerve in your low back, it can affect your foot. Pinch the nerve higher in your low back, it can affect your buttocks or legs. So when you have shooting pain down the arm, always think about what's going on with the nerve up here. And he had done PT and several things and still had this constant chronic pain in his arm and weakness in his hand, actually. And again, I did my testing with him, gave him his 90 nutrients. He tested strongly for immune boosting things, like antiviral things, antibacterial things, something to boost your immune system with. We found the right one for him was Immunomax, L-lysine, and Argentin 23 silver. Strengthened all the weak reflexes here. He said in 2 weeks, that pain was gone. The body will tell you what it wants. You just got to ask it, and it'll tell you. 67-year-old with gallbladder removal problem. Okay, so this poor lady, she couldn't eat anything. She could eat carrots and chicken bone broth. Everything else, she had incredible intestinal pain after gallbladder removal. So your liver produces bile, and bile is an emulsifier. If you take oil and water, pour them in a glass together, they don't mix. Well, your blood's a water solution, so then how do you get fats through your bloodstream? You need to emulsify it. So if you put an egg in the oil and water mixture, egg binds to the oil, binds to the water, makes an emulsion, kind of like mayonnaise. That's also what bile does. It binds fat to water. But also, whenever you eat food, your stomach produces a massive amount of acid to break that food down. And before that acid goes and burns out your small intestine, bile helps to neutralize that acid. Your pancreas produces different minerals and so forth to neutralize that acid. And whenever you have the gallbladder taken out, you lose the ability to control how much bile you're mixing with your foods. She had a gallbladder out and had a horrible time with incredible pain in this quadrant over here. Probably her intestines were being burned from the stomach acid, not being neutralized. Anyway, did my testing with her, found which particular digestive aid, gallbladder support with enzyme support her body liked, found out what food she needed to stay away from, and she started eating food again. She says she can eat all sorts of things now that she couldn't eat before. So previously through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, everybody's eating all this stuff you really shouldn't be eating, but really not being that affected by it. She can only eat chicken bone broth and carrots. And now she's eating a bunch of other things. We do a time here. 82-year-old woman, IBS and fatigue. So a lady came to me and she said she was getting weaker and weaker, fatigued, couldn't, like sitting around the house, falling asleep in her chair, falling asleep all the time, had no energy and drive anymore. She used to have abundance of energy. I tested her. She tested strongly for antifungal supplements, gave her 90 nutrients, showed her what foods to stay away from. She told me, like within 2 weeks, one day she did her exercise class, she cut her grass and went dancing at night. Got her energy back, got her life back. Probably had fungus was wreaking havoc with her. She wasn't digesting food well, and we gave her 90 nutrients. The body started to fix itself. 56-year-old pilot. So this guy, stage 3 chronic kidney disease. The day I saw him, that day he had just started taking a kidney detoxification tea. I did all my testing with him, gave him his 90 nutrients, showed him what foods to stay away from, tested him on kidney support nutrients. He tested very strongly for 4 of them. He took all 4 of them. I saw him 4 weeks later, but he said in 21 days, he had a follow-up visit with his doctor for a blood test. In that period of time, he wasn't in stage 3 chronic kidney disease anymore. It was gone. His kidneys supposedly were back to normal. And he told me he felt great. 66-year-old woman, kidney pain and a kidney stone. So this lady had a lot of low back pain where the kidneys are. When I tested her, she tested strongly for 4 kidney nutritional support formulas. A week later, she had a ultrasound, and they found a kidney stone on one side. And the doctor right away is like, "You got to get this kidney stone removed. We got to do the surgery right away. We got to put a stent in there because that ureter can close down. We take the kidney out." Put all this fear in her. Dr. Weiner said, you can dissolve kidney stones. The regime I had her on was Dr. Weiner's regime that she tested strongly for. I didn't tell her this will dissolve your kidney stone. I showed her kidney reflex area was weak and was really strengthened by all these different kidney supplements. So for 2 weeks from the time she started taking the supplements, she had surgery. When they went in to do the surgery, there was no kidney stone there. But they did a stent anyway in the ureter. I don't know, maybe they make money doing this, I don't know. But she had so much pain from the stent that she had to have another surgery 4 days later to take the stents out. Okay. But let me see here. So allergy reversals. We're pretty much out of time here. Let me talk about a few of these things. So this poor guy, this poor little kid, came to see me, 10-year-old boy. He had a grass allergy. He was May 1st of 2019. He was playing in a park for the first time that year. First time he was outdoor by the grass. And you could see the reaction on his face, what the grass was doing to him. His mom brought him to me about 10 days later. I have a kit in my office. It's plants and pollens in the Northeast. There's 15 tree energy signatures in there, 19 grasses, and a whole bunch of weeds and shrubs and things like that. He tested poorly on 13 of the 19 grasses. I did an allergy reversal treatment for him on the grasses. He was super weak in response at the beginning, super strong in response afterwards. His mom took him to the same park it was a week or 10 days later, and he actually did a handstand in a pile of grass, had no reaction to it. So this is what's possible. This allergy reversal treatment stuff. There's a doctor up in the north. Medical doctor did allergy shots for 30 years. He learned this system. And he was instrumental in getting Dr. Weiner trained in this system. It was so effective for him. He was actually ready to retire, but it was so effective that he got swamped with people. He had to open up a second office to handle everybody. This was a medical doctor who did the allergy shots for 30 years. He ended up doing this type of treatment. You stimulate acupressure points on the body while you're holding in a glass jar what you're allergic to. A glass jar of cat fur, dog fur, a glass jar of all these vials charged with the energies of grasses. That's what I did with him. You had no reaction to it. I don't make any claims that this will cure you, but we can attempt this and see how it works. And it's been worked fabulously for many, many people. 33-year-old opera singer. We'll probably just do this and maybe one more. 33-year-old opera singer. One of my clients actually had sent me to Italy to work on her and her family. Imagine getting that phone call. Hey, Jeff, why don't you, can I pay you to come to Venice to work on me and my family? I'm like, yeah. So 2007, I went for a week. 2008, I went for 20 days. And she's originally from Alaska. Her mother's Eskimo and her father is from Texas. American citizen, but she married a guy and lived in Italy. But when she sang, if they had hors d'oeuvres at the opera, whatever, if any hors d'oeuvres had pork in it, it affected her vocal cords and she didn't sing very well. I went to her. We did a bunch of testing on pork products, did allergy reversal treatment on pork, and she said that worked fantastically well. And then the next year when I was in Italy, we went to the grocery store and tested on sopressata and prosciutto and all these different meats and so forth. Found a couple that she had a negative response to, did a reversal on those. And then when she ate those, it didn't bother her singing anymore. So this is what's possible, folks. Basically come to the Weiner Wellness Center, spend some time with me. Let's go through all this testing with you. Let's scroll back up here to the top and find, there you go. There's the contact information. Call the Weiner Wellness Center, call World of Wellness now, 412-922-9355. I'll spend an hour with you and we're going to test foods. We're going to test reflexes on your body. We're going to test our supplements and your supplements. If you have any, bring them in with you. We're going to test teeth. And then I have over 3,200 vials of different things to test with in my office. Chances are I can help you. So call the Wine and Wellness Center, folks, and we'll do what I can to get you on track to turn your life around. All right, Phil, so that's about it. We have any questions or comments? Okay, we done?